Hey guys. So today, as you saw in the title, I'm doing a Colourpop single eyeshadow haul. 2 to 3 weeks ago, they were having a sale, and that's all it took for me to take the bait. But really, the reason why I wanted to do this was because I used to have a ton of single eyeshadows. If you've seen any of my makeup collection or organizing videos, then you know that I used to have a ton of MAC eyeshadows, Makeup Geek, Anastasia. I had a lot of single eyeshadows. I've always been a huge single eyeshadow fan because while palettes are fun and I do enjoy them, I like single eyeshadows, I think, more because then I get to pick the color story. I get to choose the eyeshadows rather than just buying a pre-made palette that's somebody else's idea of what a color story should be. So I'm practically starting from scratch here. If you watched my ShopMissA haul, then you know that I tried out the A20 Lab eyeshadows, which is their brand of single eyeshadows. And some of them are great, some of them are not so great. They're somewhat hit and miss, but I feel like for the most part they're good. But I had never tried that before, but I said to myself, okay, right around the time that I ordered those, I also ordered these. I'm just getting around to showing them to you now. But both orders were ordered about the same time and came in about the same time. And I said, okay, I know Colourpop is good, so why don't I just order some basics? Because I'm starting from scratch here. The only Colourpop eyeshadow that I had prior to getting this was the I Heart This Super Shock Shadow. That's it. I remember when Colourpop launched their single eyeshadows years ago, and I was so excited, and I built my own quad. And so I only ordered the 4 eyeshadows, and that was it. You know, the market is so oversaturated with makeup companies now that it's kind of overwhelming. Um, like when you go to order things, it's hard to know what to order, but I'm trying to be more careful about how much money I spend on makeup. For the most part, I'm trying to keep it to affordable brands. Every now and then I do have a little splurge, like I had bought that Jeffree Star blood sugar palette not too long ago, and then I ordered the mini controversy palette recently, and but usually I don't buy expensive brands. Usually I try to keep it to affordable things, not just because that's what I can afford, but because I think that the majority of people, that's what they can afford too. It's only 2% of the world that's wealthy. So that tells me that, you know, I'm in the other percentage, and that's the average person. So I don't really understand how it seems like when you watch YouTube videos that so many people are just buying everything at every price point. And where are they getting all this money? Are they robbing banks? I don't know. But that's not me. So I try to keep it real and buy what I can afford to buy. So, boy, what a long intro that was, huh? People, you guys are probably screaming at your computers, just saying, come on, show us the eyeshadows. Okay, well, so I wanted to kind of explain why I ordered what I ordered, because when you look at this, you might think to yourself, oh my God, is that boring? Well, this is where I'm starting. I ordered 10 eyeshadows, and I said, okay, I need mattes and I need neutrals. And because I want to be able to use these eyeshadows by themselves, just a combination of these, but I also want to be able to use them with my other eyeshadows that I already own. Like, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, all right, let me just show you the damn palette. This is what I ordered, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, why didn't you wear any of those today if you were going to talk about them? I actually did. I know it doesn't look like it, but let's go through them and I will explain and then it will make sense. All right, the first one I ordered is called Hear Me Out, and this is a matte, very light peach. This is what I have on as my brow bone highlight and my inner corner highlight today. So see, I do have one of them on, and I have another one on. This is Wake Up Call. This is a matte, warm sand color, and this is my transition shade. So that's what I have on between the brow bone highlight and my crease color. And that worked out really well. That ended up being a really great transition shade for me. Okay, the next one is Bel Air. And this is they're calling it a cool matte taupe, but that doesn't look cool to me. So I'm gonna just call it a matte taupe and let you decide what you think of that tone, but that doesn't look cool to me. This is definitely not cool. This is Paper Tiger. This is a matte mustard. I'm drawn to this color lately and I don't know why, because it's not flattering on me at all, but you know how sometimes you go through these weird phases where you're drawn to specific colors, you have no idea why? Because that's a color that very hard for me to pull off. Okay, next is Made to Last. This is a neutral mauve. So all these are matte, but I tried to pick out things that would just go with the rest of my collection. This is Cloud 9, and this is a warm plummy brown. This is Take the Lead, and this is a matte dusty medium gray. Yeah, that's an accurate description there. You don't see a lot of those types of colors for some reason. And they work well on people with cool skin tones like myself. Okay, this is Conundrum. This is a matte warm brown. You can never have too many of those in your collection because there's such a variation of those. Speaking of which, this is Sea Stars. And this is a matte medium yellow brown. But you can see it's got a lot more yellow in it than that last one did. And then last but not least, this is Feathered. This is a warm, rich chocolate brown. Yeah, that definitely looks like milk chocolate. So that's what I got. And in case you are wondering about this insane eyeshadow look I have on, this is the Beauty Glazed Gorgeous Me palette. I love this thing. This is one of my best purchases of 2019. And this is the palette. So what I did was I used this one right here in the crease and outer corner section of my eyes. And then this one right here is what's on the first 2/3 of my lids. And I also drag that down along the lower lash line. But the thing with this palette, my only criticism of it is, see, it has a lot of neutrals on the side, but none of the matte neutrals are as light. It would have been nice if there had been one or two really light ones. The ones that are light are shimmer. And there are some matte light colors, but they're either too deep to use as a transition, or they're brow bone highlight shades. Because if I look at this, or they're too yellow. They're just outright yellow. Like, let me show you what I mean. Like, this is the color, Wake Up Call. This is what I used as my transition today, okay? I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold this up and that too. I'm going to try. Okay, so if you look at this, you might be thinking, oh, well, that one looks like that. It's a shimmer. All right, what else? That one? It's a shimmer. So all the ones that were the color that I needed for my transition shade, they were all shimmers. So it would have been nice of, instead of making those two that I just showed you shimmer, if they had just made one of those matte, this would have been such a great palette. But yeah, the neutrals are either way dark. I mean, how many dark brown matte shades do you need? It just seems like there's a lot of repeats of the same neutrals. There should have been more variation amongst the matte neutrals, because that's why I felt as if I was forced to try ordering the Colourpop and the A2O from ShopMissA, because I needed a couple of palettes that I could go to when I needed matte neutrals. So now I should be all set with that. Now at some point, I think I will place another order from Colourpop, and then I'll add some like metallics and dual chromes and, you know, more interesting things than matte neutrals. When I made my original quad, the shade that stands out in my mind that I got for my lid shade was Come and Get It. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's so pretty. I definitely need to replace that, because my Colourpop eyeshadows that I bought when they first started have all been purged. When it comes to throwing away makeup that's expired and everything, I'm very inconsistent with how long I keep things. Like sometimes I keep things longer than I should, longer than I know I should. And sometimes I'm like, you know, okay, what's the rule? What's the time frame here? And, you know, sometimes I'm good about that. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but on the back of every eyeshadow palette is a picture of an open container. That's it right there. And I know you can't see it on the monitor, but inside that container, it'll say like, because they're not all the same. It depends on the formula and the company. Sometimes it'll say like 12M. That would be 12 months. Or it'll say 16M or whatever. And that's what they're telling you. That's when you should throw it out. Now, with powder products, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's powder, so it's okay. It doesn't have an expiration date. It does. I am meticulous about cleaning my brushes. I clean my brushes every single day. Not everybody does that. So they're cross-purposing contamination into their palettes from their brushes, from applying it to their face, to the palette, and, you know, not getting washed every day. So it's better to be safe than sorry, because you don't want an eye infection or worse. I just was reading online the other day about somebody that used some eyeshadows that were 8 years old or something like that. Not only did she get an infection, she went blind. So this is nothing to mess around with. And I see people doing declutter videos, and when I see what they have in their collection, because I know makeup. I know when things came out. I remember when palettes launched. And when I see what's in some people's collections, it's like, oh my God. But you know what's way worse than that? Liquid or cream products. Those you have to be really careful with. I've seen people using lipsticks that have not been around for a long time. And you know what? They're going to end up in the hospital or something because you can't, I mean, they're going on your mouth. Did you know that your mouth is like the dirtiest part of your body? As far as bacteria counts go, yeah, you don't want to be using old lipsticks. Just don't even chance it, people. I'm sorry, this wasn't supposed to be a lecture about makeup expiration, but it's important. And it's definitely something that you should consider doing. Keep your collection up to date. Go through it often. I was watching a declutter video the other day and she said, "This is the first time I've done this in 3 years." And I'm thinking to myself, what? You have a collection that size and you only go through it every 3 years? That's crazy. I go through mine once a month. Now that might be excessive, but I want to stay on top of this. I want to stay on top of what should and should not be in my collection. So I won't keep you guys any longer, but if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.